when he posted that video. 28,000 lightning strikes recorded in this storm that took place 6:30 in the evening last night.
That is crazy, you know.
Hundreds of fish have washed up on a beach south of Perth. Local fishermen are angry. There's still no word on what's caused the deaths.
Kim Burton has been fishing Coburn Sound for almost 4 decades, but he's never seen anything like this.
Just saw multiple dead fish on the beach, probably 7 or 8 different species.
More than 700 fish have washed ashore since last Wednesday, but why remains a mystery.
Here's another one. This is the biggest fish kill we've seen in the oceanic waters.
Testing done by the Department of Fisheries so far hasn't been able to find a cause. Investigations are continuing.
2015, with all the resources of government and all the things that they've got at their disposal, it's really disappointing that they can't tell us any more.
Even the author of Charlotte's Web could not have spun this story, or maybe it's best described as a sci-fi thriller. Either way, there's an 8-legged problem causing headaches for some homeowners in North Memphis. Frost or morning dew covering the grass in this neighborhood near Chelsea and May.
I've never seen anything.
34 years and I never saw this.
Never seen nothing like this before. When I got up this morning, it was like spiders all on my door. They were coming in my house.
Yeah, well, a sinkhole the size of a football field has swallowed a large part of a beach on North Stradbroke Island off Brisbane. Tons of sand disappeared into the sea, but authorities say the sand will likely return with the tide. Experts are calling it an underwater avalanche.
Campers and fishermen are being warned to avoid the area until the beach stabilises.
A downtown favourite has reopened after an unusual phenomenon forced them to close for the first time in almost a quarter century. The Elephant Room had to shut down back on November 13th after a sinkhole opened up. The owner wasn't sure how long they would be closed or if they could reopen at all. It's the first time they'd closed their doors since opening back in January of 1991.
A man thought he was driving into a parking spot, but his car ended up being swallowed by a sinkhole. Half of the car Andy Liston was driving is in this big hole. He lives on Folsom Street in South City. He parked there because somebody was parked in his normal spot. Liston says as soon as he pulled up, the ground opened up.
I pulled in and this thing, my whole car fell in. And I hit my head on the steering wheel, but I was so scared that I just jumped out the driver's side, like on a movie, just jumped out the passenger side,
It's a question that just appears just won't be solved. Picture after picture coming in to Channel 9, of course, of that crazy cloud formation. So many of you sending in these pictures across the tri-state, really. And tonight, weather experts are still stumped about what could have caused this. One thing we do know, it carried on for miles and miles in the sky.
What the heck was this? It was seen over across the tri-state today, and a lot of folks got nervous because the obvious look is, oh my goodness, it's a funnel cloud. As you take a closer look at it, it's kind of broken up a little bit. There's some jaggedness. It's not quite held together, but boy, it caused a lot of folks to wonder. We were talking about it this morning. Jennifer Ketchmark ended up talking to the Weather Service. They didn't know what it was.
Many of you called our newsroom or sent us messages on our Facebook page saying that you heard it. People in Boyle and Mercer counties reported a loud boom that shook their homes last night. Emergency crews investigated but couldn't find any sign of an explosion.
He said was he sent me an article about the explosion.
Felicia Kelly and her daughter Michaela say they like the quiet, peaceful farmland area around Parksville in western Boyle County.
This is as loud as it gets out here.
So you can imagine the surprise when that tranquility was suddenly broken Thursday night.
Sounded like a loud, like an explosion or something. I mean, it wasn't, it was kind of different because it was just kind of a dull boom.
Yeah, it was more of a sound. It was a boom, it was a loud explosion type.
The Danville 911 Center received at least 15 phone calls. It was apparently heard in neighboring Mercer, Lincoln, and Garrett counties as well.
There's been a lot of theories floating around as to what exactly it was. The prevailing one, police are telling me, possibly a meteor shower and the resulting sonic boom from that.
And some people told us they actually heard 2 loud booms, but no one reported actually seeing anything in the sky.
At 5, that section of Vasquez Canyon Road that buckled several days ago is still closed to traffic. But as Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz reports, the unstable road is now attracting the curious.
Vasquez Canyon Road in Santa Clarita has become quite the eyesore over the past few days. Professor Jeremy Boyce said, quote, "There was no big rainstorm that triggered this. There was no big earthquake that triggered this. The long arcing up and down street grew 15 feet in 3 days, which has completely stumped local geologists."
I just don't understand it. Like I say, I've lived here all these years and I've never seen anything really like this.
The Oklahoma Corporation Commission wants companies to close 2 wells and cut back at 23 others after a series of earthquakes today. It happened near Cherokee, which is about 2.5 hours west of Tulsa. The U.S. Geological Survey says people in 13 states say they felt that earthquake. 4 more earthquakes happened in that same area today and 2 others near Crescent, Oklahoma.
The U.S. Geological Survey says a 5.9 magnitude earthquake has struck northern Afghanistan.
Well, if you thought you felt the earth move beneath you in the early morning hours, you're not alone. A small earthquake, registering at 3.6, shook the area near Cornwall today just after midnight. The quake was reported 15 kilometers from Cornwall. There are reports that residents heard a loud crack before the rumbling began, lasting around 20 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. The New Madrid fault caused quite a stir this morning and throughout the afternoon. You may have felt it. There were 12 earthquakes reported today, all centered near Lilburn, Missouri. One man working in the area says all the rumbling woke him up.
I was laying in bed and it hit, and I thought it done broke the bed down. I thought the bed done broke completely down with hard as it hit. And it wasn't too long later, and we had another hard thud.
But so many quakes so close together is a bit unusual.
Some folks in Schuylkill County are feeling a bit rattled after something that felt like an explosion shook the floors and windows of their homes.
But Friday night, something shattered the peace and quiet.
I was just sitting here on the couch, and it was around 9:30, and just a big boom, it's almost like a quarter stick, and the house shook and the windows shook.
The Sterners weren't the only family to hear their windows rattle. Reports of explosions were phoned into the state police from across southern Schuylkill County.
With the worldwide travel alert in place, the AAA estimates that 47 million people will travel this week. So 41.
Security in New York City is high in advance of this Thursday's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
You like seeing the heavily armed officers?
I love it. I took a picture and put it on Instagram.
Tonight, police in Colorado Springs, Colorado are trying to figure out why a gunman attacked a Planned Parenthood clinic yesterday in our nation's latest mass shooting.
Brussels has been on virtual lockdown for the past week.
A Russian military jet shot down not by ISIS, but by Turkey.
We are also following some breaking news involving another attack on a hotel overseas, this time in Egypt. That country's state-run news agency says a suicide car bomber tried to hit the hotel in a tourist area.